Have you heard this one? Where maybe it was you that brought this up when we were sitting down. But if he goes for the third term, do the Dems bring Barack for the third term?
Son, that's it.
Yeah.
That's Floyd versus Pacquiao. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see.
Everything's wrestling, bro. We just want good matchups.
Yeah.
We just want
good matchups.
That's right. Do you care more about term limits or matchups?
I want matchups, baby.
Yeah.
I want match. After we fix all this nonsense, I want matchups.
Election mania.
I think we should do, since everything is wrestling, maybe we should take a little time and help the Democrats understand the wrestling of their party. Because I think Republicans understand the wrestling of their party.
Oh, they sure do.
They really get the wrestling more than anything.
Yeah.
It's probably the most important thing to them is the wrestling. We'd like maybe a little bit more focus on policy. I mean, but
They get it so much they got Hulk Hogan up there.
they get it. So there's a moment. I hope you guys can bring this up. This shit cracked me up. RFK is on. Shout out to RFK. He's a real one, bro. This motherfucker is like, he's like Mariah the Scientist to Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like, he's riding for Donald Trump. So he's on Tucker Carlson's pod. And, I don't know if somehow it brings up geopolitics, right? And Tucker's like, yeah, so, what do you think about Donald Trump? And then RFK goes, I remember I was on a plane with him and he was telling me about the Middle East, and he brought out a napkin and he drew a map of the Middle East and told me the number of troops we had in each one of these locations in the Middle East. And Tucker goes, wait, are you telling me that Donald Trump drew a map of the Middle East from memory? He goes, yep, from memory. And Tucker just goes, that's his face. But you need that kind of ride or die wrestling in order to push the agenda. So do we help the Dems?
So that's what we call it out, ride or die wrestling? Or
you need
ultimate dick sucking.
Yeah, you need someone to completely lie. Oh, here it is. Go
Like,
watch.
that's crazy.
Make sure I got this right. Trump on the plane the other day drew a map of the Mideast.
He drew a map of the Mideast.
An accurate map.
Yeah, an accurate map of the Mideast.
With troop strength.
Yes, with troop strength in each of the nations. So, I saw that.
Even Tucker, who is the mouthpiece for the editor could have kept that shit out, but he's like, nah, this is too crazy. RFK out here trying to unvaccinate us, saying shit like that.
That is
Oh my God.
Anyway, okay, so
The wrestling for Democrats. What do they need to do?
okay, what is most important? Because I think the goal for most sane Americans is we have two options for president every single election, and they're both awesome.
Yeah.
And it's really tricky which one we have to go for.
Yeah.
And that's how you know that we're in a pretty good situation.
Right.
Right? I think
the
that's
ideal. That's the dream.
We're not so tribal that we're just like, oh, fuck Democrats or oh, fuck Republicans. We would like two people who are really speaking to the things that are bothering us, and they're going to go satisfy those things. Fair enough?
Yeah.
How do we do that? Obviously, the election showed the Democrats are a little bit off from what the majority of people want.
Yeah.
Now, their policies might actually satisfy what those people want. They might have good policies for working class people. They might have good policies for labor. They might have good policies for, they might even have good policies for the border. I don't even fucking know what their border thing is. I thought that their messaging was horrible. But their messaging has, one, been horrible. And two, the perception of them is atrocious. This is where we get into the wrestling.
Yeah.
So let's just have a very honest discussion. What is the perception of the Democratic Party right now?
Identity politics. Leftists have taken over. They don't care about any working everyday American. They only care about these kind of fringe groups. That's the perception.
Would you guys say that that's part of it?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. I also think they're not addressing the things people care about the most, and not trying to separate that just threw me the fuck off.
Yeah, like what's that thing right there? What's that thing
How do you
that's
keep
on the
talking
screen?
with that? But
Why is she in a scarf? Look at that neck. That's warm.
I think they were great as the bad guy in Monsters Inc. I thought they were awesome.
Okay.
This is Secretary of Health.
That's the Secretary of Health.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem, they didn't separate, well, Kamala didn't separate herself from Biden's 4 years, and I think with now a break, they'll have a fresh start over next time.
Just
next
what's
go
the
around.
perception?
Yeah, let's just go off of perception.
Not
what they are,
Yeah.
not what the policies are, because unfortunately in politics and in life, like for example, and I said this when we were having the meeting the other day, like there are people who know nothing about us. They see Donald Trump on our pod and they're like, oh, they're a right-wing podcast, right? I have to live with that perception. You guys have to live with that perception from people who don't really know what we're about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, and that is the cost. And then we can decide to address that, or we can decide to just keep on making content and it's up to us.
Yeah.
What I think is there is a disconnect between what the Democrats think they are and how the American public perceives them.
Yeah. And perception is so strong, to use his personal. There's people who know me who are like, oh, you're a right wing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know me pretty well. I would think you know me better than that, but perception is so powerful. It doesn't matter how much I know about you personally, even then. So Democrats,
you
perception, huh?
Yo, you MAGA.
You MAGA.
Yeah, you MAGA. You MAGA.
No, I'm more extreme than MAGA. Yes! Yeah, I think America was its greatest hundreds of years ago. No, but the perception, so that's our point is, people like Jon Stewart had a great piece about what the liberals actually are, and everybody thinks the Democrats are identity politics, blah, blah, blah. But you hit it perfectly. The perception is not what, even if reality is this, the perception is it's leftist, it's libs of TikTok people, it's
This
whatever.
is the perception of Democrats from the average, I think, American. Pretentious weirdos.
Yes.
Weird. They're everything weird.
Yeah.
Anything weird you can imagine is them.
And if I don't love your weirdness, I'm a Nazi.
Exactly. So like just to assess the weird thing, Republicans used to be the weirdos. The perception of Republicans was like, oh, these like country hillbillies, you having snakes bite them in church and all this weird
Jesus freaks and puritanical.